Getting all your stuff out to you, so just wanted. Yeah. I was,
Not good on the lungs.
I did my own handouts.
Good morning. I will officially call this meeting of the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to order for Tuesday, June 19th. Please join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Thomas will offer the prayer.
Please bow your heads. Lord, please guide us as we contemplate the county's business today. Please help us and see your vision for our rural community for Seneca County. In your name we pray. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Herschel? Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Okay, well, the signing of the journal, and I'll accept the motion to approve the digital audio-video recording of the previous session of Tuesday, June 12th, and Thursday, June 14th, and the index of those meetings.
So moved.
I will second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Approved. Okay. We're going to go right into, we got a number of scheduled things today. We're going to go right into the first one, which is Ken Majors is right here with us. Our Director of Emergency Services.
Well, we've kind of wrapped up a pretty exciting project, and we're kind of ready to kick it off and get it out to the public because it's a very important thing, especially this time of year. We have, not really sure how you say it, but we've come to an agreement with the two cities. So we've got a three-way deal going with the City of Tiffin and the City of Fostoria for a wireless emergency notification system. A lot of communities across the country use this system or systems similar to it to provide emergency alerts to the citizens using wireless technology. Nowadays, pretty much everybody carries a cell phone, and that is the quickest and most effective means of contacting someone anywhere at any time. Everybody's familiar with Amber Alerts or things like that. So this will give us the ability to send out an emergency alert to the citizens and push it to their phone. Now there's a couple of things about that. You can turn off emergency alerts on your phone if you want to, and you won't receive them. But if you don't do that and you sign up for our alerts, you'll get alerts for Seneca County, City of Tiffin, and the City of Fostoria. There's 3 different sign-up pages, but right now I'm just going to talk about the Seneca one because all of them link to each other. We've come to the agreement. We haven't really done a lot of training with it yet, but we've got it set up and it's ready to go, and it's ready to go to the public. I got a link up there that's available on this page if anybody wants a copy of this. There's a link that you can actually access from your computer, and you can sign up for these alerts, and you can be custom. If you want to, I want to have road closures, I want to have community event alerts, or anything like that. Right now, we're just going to be pushing out emergency type alerts. Tornado warnings, tornado watches, things like that. And you can sign up for it a very easy way by just texting Seneca Alerts ! To 69310. If you text that in, every weather alert that we will get and any severe emergency alert that we send will come to your phone. You can also sign up by using the link through your email, and then we also have the ability to call landlines if you choose to. A couple of things I'd like to say about that is landlines a lot of people still have them. I still have one, and a lot of folks still keep their landlines at their homes, but that's the slowest way to contact people. So this will work, and it's designed to work wirelessly through your mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a phone, Android, iPhone, or even flip phone. It'll work, and it'll send you these alerts. Primarily what we're going to send right now is just going to be emergency alerts. The weather alerts are automated. We don't have anything to do with them because you don't mess with the National Weather Service, because they kind of get upset with you if you do that. You're not even allowed to change the wording on them. So if you sign up for all of the weather alerts, you're going to get all of the weather alerts. The way to avoid getting extra alerts or middle of the night flood watch for somewhere that you don't really care about, log in using the link that we have up there. And I'm going to put this out all across social media today. It's going to be everywhere. So you'll be able to follow a link from your computer. And then you can customize your weather alerts. You can only get the ones you want to get. If you really only care about tornado watch, thunderstorm watch, volcano alert, or whatever else you want, you can sign up for those specifically. You don't have to get all of the flash flood watch or the heat advisory that sent out yesterday. That's actually considered a watch. So a lot of folks don't want watches, they just want warnings, because otherwise your phone's going to blow up all the time. So there's a lot of flexibility within this. We're going to have some pretty specific training for administrators, and we're going to even expand the use of this so that we can have community events sent out as an alert that you sign up for. They don't just automatically push out like an Amber Alert. We don't want that to happen. But we're going to expand the functionality of this over the next couple of months. But right now, I wanted to get the emergency side of this out right now, because we're in thunderstorm, tornado type season, and it's a really good idea to have it out there. And this will give us, and I'm not going to say that this is going to be faster than Channel 11, but it's going to be equally fast, because they get their National Weather Service alerts the same way we'll get them, and they'll push at the same time. So you may actually, if you don't have your cell phone right on you like I always do, you may get it. You may be watching a television and you say, oh, Channel 11 says there's a tornado watch. I don't see that. And then you look at your phone and there it is. So that's how this is probably going to work. But subscribing is the only way to get these alerts. You have to actively subscribe to these, because we don't have a big database of everybody's cell phone number. We do have the ability to purchase from AT&T a landline. Like basically you buy the phone book, but you buy it in a format where you can just drag and drop it into this system. We elected not to do that because it's expensive. And most people carry wireless devices nowadays. I mean, even Ron does, right? Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, we got cell phones. So if you got a cell phone, it'll push to it. It'll come in the form of a text message. You're still gonna, there's a couple of warnings that come no matter what you do, whether you sign up or not. Those are not controlled by us. Presidential alerts, Amber alerts, and anything pushed out by the governor will come to you. It doesn't matter if you sign up or not. They just pop up on your phone and are very annoying, but they're very important. We won't have that ability, so what we're going to do is ask you to subscribe. We'll send you whatever alerts you sign up for, and if you just sign up using Seneca Alerts to 69310, you'll get emergency alerts only. You'll get all the weather alerts and anything that we, Seneca County EMA, city officials in both cities, deem to be an emergency that you need to know about. And I think what this will do is it'll give us an opportunity to not have folks find out about really bad news on Facebook. You'll know about it. If you want to know about it, we have a means now to tell you about it. I think this is a very good thing. We've come to an agreement with the city, so we're splitting costs 3 ways. This is a, it's kind of a cool thing to do. It's kind of tough to get that many people in one room to agree to anything, but this is very important. So I wanted to make sure that I got it out to you as soon as I could. It's live right now. Sign up right now. You can do it from your phone or any wireless device, any internet access device. What questions do you have for me?
Well, I do compliment you for the cooperation between the entities. That's, we want to continue to do more of that. We're looking for ways to do that. What other agencies will have access? Will the volunteer fire departments have access to this? Can the engineer's office have access to this? How does that rollout happen after we're up? Not
initially. Currently, right now, who has access are the emergency personnel for the cities and Seneca County EMA. Okay. So if the sheriff wants to send out, well, this is also, we have level 1, 2, and 3 snow emergencies on here. The sheriff dictates that.
Right.
So if the sheriff says, hey, there's a level 1, he sends that out to us because he has my cell phone and Adam, the EMA director's cell phone. He sends that to us and we initiate the alert from there. So right now, it's just the emergency folks that have that ability. As we kind of roll this program out further, we'll be able to send alerts like what you're talking about. But those alerts will be managed from at an administrator level, and we haven't really come to terms on who those exact administrators are going to be. Yeah. Right now, it's very limited, but it's going to expand. And it's not saying that if Mark wanted to send out an alert, he could call me and I could get that alert out within minutes. Or Adam, or he could just call dispatch and dispatch would take care of it. they would call me and we would do the alert. Same goes for both cities, and I don't want to speak for them and steal their thunder, because they're going to do this too, push this out to their constituents. I guess that's what you call them.
Sure.
I'm just trying to get it out to the masses, because we have to make sure that we provide for the safety of the masses. To me, this knowledge is power, so you want to make sure that if that road's closed for whatever reason, you know about it. And if there's high water, things like that, we'll be putting those alerts out. And if the engineer comes up, has something, a bridge that's not safe or is limited, he can send us the information, we can push that out. And so people know not to drive a 8-ton truck over a 2-ton bridge, or whatever the case may be.
Try and fit in the viaduct.
Right, yeah. I didn't think of the viaduct, that's an excellent point.
Viaduct truck now.
Right. So your imagination is whatever this limit is. That's your limit. But we don't want to, what I call, and I don't know if I coined this phrase, but it sounds good, I'll claim it, message fatigue.
Yeah.
I don't want to send you an emergency alert every 15 minutes, so you just go, it's got me again, and you end up turning off your alerts because you're annoyed with me. We're going to make this an emergency system, and that's all you're going to get initially. Later, you'll be able to sign up, and maybe it'll be Seneca Road to 69310, and all you'll get is road alerts. Or it could be regional planning. We could put Seneca regional planning alerts, and you sign up for that, and you're the only people that are getting those. So your imagination is really the limit to this. A couple other things that I've thought about and we've discussed in meetings is like the fair. During the third week of July, the Seneca County Fairgrounds is the third largest city in Seneca County. So we should probably have alerts for the fair. We're building that right now. So you can sign up and just say Seneca Fair anytime you're at the fairgrounds, or even if you're not there, but you have stuff there and you need to know about it. If a tornado rolls through there, you want to know about that. Or if there's a pipe burst, or it could be any emergency that you could dream up, but we can set an alert for that. Road closures is one that we're working on. We could do it for the parks, So if a park is closed for whatever reason, we could make note of that and put that out to the people who request it,
Right.
but not to the masses.
Right.
This goes to the masses.
Do we have a privacy policy in place on dealing with the numbers that we've received, phone numbers?
Oh, that's an excellent question. We don't share any of that information with anybody. We don't see it. You sign up, we see that you signed up and it goes to you. But that wouldn't be a public record because it contains privacy information, private information about an individual. We maintain a lot of private records with our medical records for EMS and things like that. That stuff's not shared with the public. To access this data, you're required to log into the computer, log into the system, and then log in as an administrator, so it requires 3 sets of credentials to get to. Not saying a hacker couldn't do that. They can do just about anything. But it's not shareable. We don't share it, sell it, anything like that.
Under no circumstances will
Absolutely
we
not.
intentionally share
No.
that data.
No, we don't do that. And I don't see how it would accidentally happen, but I'm no visionary when it comes to IT. We have IT professionals that do that. It's an excellent question. I will research that answer and make sure I tell you the truth. But I can tell you for sure that right now we've only got 5 or 6 people signed up, but I don't have any personal data on them.
The promptness of getting this out, because that meeting wasn't that long ago, a week and a half ago maybe.
Right.
So appreciate that. And
I'd rather get it done, than,
Good luck.
especially now, this time of year. It's
Yeah.
really important.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Even Ron has a cell phone?
Even Ron has a cell phone.
Well,
It just got you, didn't it? You just,
Wait for it.
I hope you're not in a hurry to leave, because I got your vehicle blocked in with my horse and buggy.
well, that's good to know. I appreciate it.
Quick question, Ken.
Does he like Apple?
The cost of all three, is that 10,000 a piece or
No.
10,000 total?
It's a
year?
total of $10,000 for this package. We researched 4 or 5, and there's hundreds of them out there that do this kind of thing. Some of the more popular names are Everbridge. A lot of schools use Everbridge. Code Red is one, and then there's several others that are slipping my mind. We chose WENS, which is through a company called Inspiron Logistics, simply because, and this might be, I mean, I know it's not just me. Inspiron Logistics out of Akron, Ohio. This program was developed, invented, and fielded by people who live right here in Ohio. If we're spending taxpayers' money, I like to spend it in Ohio. And this is an Ohio-built company and owned company, and that's why I did it. And it's also very robust. It'll do, I mean, it's good enough for the United States Marine Corps. It's good enough for me. They have the contract for the entire state of Iowa. One state just went, we want this. And the United States Marine Corps uses it at all their installations and abroad. And I think it's a very robust, simple to use, and not easy to send out an accidental missile alert like they did in Hawaii. I'm sure you guys read the papers. You'd have to do that on purpose to do that with this system, because there is no way you can do that accidentally. Like I said, the 3 logins, and then it takes 3 clicks to send a message. But once you've done it a couple of times, you can really do it quickly. And it gives us the ability to save canned alerts, like a level 1 snow emergency. We're going to send that out 15 times this coming winter. So it's canned. That means it's already written, the sheriff's wording is in there, it comes right out of the ORC, and when the sheriff texts me and says, hey, level 1, I push a button, off it goes. Well, I push 3 buttons. Do you really want to send it? Yeah. Are you really, really sure? Yes. And that's how it works. I thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dan, appreciate it.
You bet.
Okay.
You want me to stick around?
No.
Okay, good.
All right, we're gonna go right to the, right to the bid opening, because it is
Good luck
2
getting
minutes
out.
past that time. This is a bid opening for 2018 LPA guardrail installation project. C-1802, and you can ask Mark what that might mean, but whatever.
We had 2, none of them came in, left anything sit.
No sign-in sheet?
I just gave it to you.
Oh.
Yes.
Huh? I looked. The engineer's estimate for this project is $269,883, 269,883.00. The first bid is, make sure I read it correctly, is it MP Dory? Is that an R and N?
Dory.
Dory.
That's a Dory.
Out of Columbus, Ohio. Their total bid amount, $318,037.50, 318,037.50. Second bid is from Lake Erie Construction Company out of Norwalk, Ohio. here. Second bid, total amount, $325,675. 325,675.00. And those are the only two I have.
How do you spell Dory?
D-O-R-Y.
Thank you.
Okay, so those will go to Mark. It's for the bids, appreciate that. Going back to, our next scheduled thing is until 10:30, so we'll go back to the top of the agenda. Before we get started with items listed under old business, anything to add to the agenda?
I just have a comment, or public comment about solar project.
Okay. Stacey, get anything? Nicole? Okay. All right. On old business, I requested that we add fair funding to the agenda as a representative on the Seneca County Fair Board from this Board of Commissioners, non-voting member. We had sent a check on the standard yearly funding and made a little mistake with that because we've had some changes of personnel in our office, and so we're going to correct that. But that led us to some discussion after their meeting last Tuesday night. And in 14 and in 2016, we were able to provide some extra funding beyond what a letter from the Ohio Department of Agriculture gives us as our guidelines and minimums and maximums and in ways that we can contribute to the county fair and to independent fair. And here in Seneca County, we have one each. So we thought we had heard a request in writing from the Attica Independent Fair. And then again, talking with the folks at the Seneca County Fair after their meeting on Tuesday night, we just suggested, Shane reached out to Attica, and of course I communicated with Seneca County, said, if you have a request, a specific request, and there's always needs and so forth for these wonderful community events that we have, we need to have you come in and talk to us and share that information with us. Now, I'm not sure if there's anybody here from Seneca County Fair right now, because I think they were planning to come a little later. And then as well as Attica, so I don't know if they will want to move forward with Attica in respect to your
Sure.
time, because again, ODOT's scheduled at 10:30, we want to follow that schedule.
Mark's got stuff to do.
Doesn't mean that we can't consider Seneca County when they get here as well, but, so I'll let you introduce who's here from Attica.
All right.
Mark.
My name's Mark Beek. I'm from Fair Director at the Attica Independent Fair. This is, let's see.
Thank you.
Courtney, yeah, I know, I was just here. Courtney Stockmaster. She's new to her fair. Last year was her first fair. She's learning a lot, learning what it takes to put on a fair, that's for sure. I was just thinking on the way over, I think I've done a fair for about 25 years, 24, 25 years. But just some of the things that's going on up at the fair. Like she has mentioned in the past, you've generously donated to her fair through the Commissioner's Office, and we do greatly appreciate any money that we can do that. The Attica Fair, we kind of feel as though we are an independent fair, and we support our community, and our community supports us. A lot of our money comes from our community. We are a small community in Attica, but a very gracious community. And if you've ever been to our fairgrounds up there, you can see we've got a lot of newer buildings. We attribute that to our strong junior fair. We have a very strong junior fair, and it's getting stronger. I'm not here to condone our county fair, but our county fair has put some restrictions on some of the kids, and we are starting to gain some of those kids coming to Attica. That is good and that is bad. The bad part about that is it requires more money to put these fairs on, okay? And the reason that that is because these kids are bringing 4-H projects up here, and they're running through our sale of champions or our livestock sales. And it takes more money, and we're a small community, and we're drawing so much money from our local participants or local organizations to help support our junior fair. I feel strong about our junior fair. We have, I think, one of the best junior fairs I feel in the county. Of course, I'm from that fair board, so I'm a little biased, of course, but it is very strong. I think our kids have a lot of fun when they come to our fair. You know, when the competition in the show ring is going on, it is competition. But when the competition is over, more relaxed. They go back to camper, they're best friends again, and they're off enjoying themselves at the fair. So it is a strong competition, but we don't feel as though we have the pressure of being at the county fair as we do at Independent Fair. Some of our projects we have going on is, if you've been to our fairgrounds in the last few years, we've built a 100 by 150 building. Unfortunately, a few years ago, a windstorm came through and took down one of our buildings and hurt one of our other ones. So we had tore those down and built a new building. It progressed to be about a $500,000 building that we partook. Well, when you put that kind of building onto a small fairgrounds like this and your county supports it, it's tough to make payments. We're doing a fantastic job. We're not in arrears with the bank or anything like that. Don't get us wrong. But it is a debt that's over top of our heads. The second project that we've got going on that we still are working on, we had matching funds. 3 years ago, I believe, the state come up with matching funds through the fair associations. We matched their funds. We borrowed $97,000. Well, at the total, so our half is $43,000 some change. 47,000, whatever it is, but we're making payments on that. Them projects, we purchased some land from across the road. In the last, I'm going to say 50 years, the gentleman that owned the land leased us this 4 or 5 acres that we use for parking lot for $100 a year. It was very gracious to them. Well, fortunately, he had to sell this, and the people who bought that turned around and sold us this property at what they had to pay for it. They were very gracious to that. They could have inflated the price because they knew we was in demand of this, but they was very gracious enough to sell us this property for what they paid for it so we could keep it as a parking lot. So that was part of this matching grant. We, in our social hall, which we ran out very religiously on weekends for weddings and stuff, our kitchen was in need of a suppression system. So we brought it up to health codes for that reception hall. In particular, it talks about $30,000 to put the suppression system in there so we can have meetings or have receptions and stuff in that. So that took care of most of that money. Once again, we're not in disarray. We're not, asking, we're not going to close the fairgrounds. The bank's not going to foreclose on us. But this is some of the bigger projects we have going on at the present time. Some of our future projects, once we get these in array and getting under control. Of course, we always got blacktop needs rephased, resurfaced. We have roofs that need repainted. We have addition to these all these additional 4-H projects coming. We need additional pens need built for livestock that are coming. We just don't know what this fair is going to bring to us till the entries are in and they're due in July. So in the past we've been borrowing from other fairs pens and stuff to keep our fair going, and likewise they borrow from us. So it is a give and take type situation there. Some of the other projects we've got going on, trying to think what else. Oh, like I said, our electrical update. Our campgrounds is specifically oriented to our junior fair. Not just the average Joe can't come in and camp at our campgrounds during our fair. It's for the junior fair kids first. Once it is full, we would open up to the rest of them. Our campgrounds has been there for, 20 some years, like I've been there. It needs a new electrical system put in. These campers are getting newer. It's always hot in July or in August. They're bringing in their high output air conditioners, and our electrical system just can't handle those. So it needs a new electrical system. Our whole electrical system throughout the fairgrounds probably could be updated. Us as an independent fair, we own everything from the road onto our grounds. We own all the poles, transformers, wiring, everything we own. So anything updated we have to do that ourselves. It is not done through North Central Electric, which they are gracious enough to help us with, or AEP or anything like that. So I guess when you ask us to come for fair funding and what we do with our funds, it's kind of in a nutshell, I guess, of what we cover. Like I said, we're pretty proud of our fair up there. We've got 16 fair board members who work very hard. We hire very little outside labor to do anything for us. We have a tremendous staff of volunteers that helps us put us on, and it's without the volunteers we couldn't have a fair. The problem is we have volunteers like Courtney volunteer for so long she gets on the boards. We lose a volunteer, now we have a fair board member. So that's the bad part about that is, but we do have a tremendous amount of volunteers, and some of the people who are in here have been to the fair, showed their fair, and kids have showed the fair.
It's a wonderful fair.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate that. And people have asked me before, why do you put so much time in that fair? Well, you wonder why you do it until that night when them kids are bringing them projects in on that Monday night. They're unloading their projects, and they're proud of their livestock, their pigs, their sheep, their chickens, their posters they put up for. That's what it's all about. It's really, really neat. It just, it's why you work so hard for what you do for up there, so. But that's what we're all about. We're a small fair, but we really orient ourselves around our junior fair, and we're pretty proud of it, so. If you have anything you want to say, I guess.
We would just like to push the agricultural education, anymore. It's kind of a dwindling thing, but it's very important for this county and our community, to keep that. And without pushing it, you need the funding to do that. So I thank you for this opportunity. We both do.
Yes, we do. We really do. So
we appreciate it.
One of the things that came up, I was on a conversation with, on a different topic, which some of you guys appreciate. But, and one of the 4-H advisors told me, and I didn't realize this until he told me this, that many of the junior fair kids are donating back
yes, they
half
are.
their commercial bid.
Yes, they are.
And that just breaks my heart.
It does, and it's awesome. And it's just, when we first built that building there, we started up a Raise the Roof Foundation, basically to help pay for that 100 by 150 building. And the money that we took in from just the junior fair kids is outstanding. I mean, it's really, just like you said, it just breaks your heart when this kid comes in, I want to donate. Maybe they'll have 2 hogs. I'm going to donate my second hog back to the foundation, And just, that's the kids that make you feel proud of yourself. Them's the kids we hope come back to our community and give back to the community in that way, because at their age of anywhere from 9 to 18, they're already giving to the community, and they're proud of their fairgrounds up there too. And that's why we work as hard as we do to supply them with what they want to have when they come to the fair. So.
And that's why we're both standing here. We have gotten so much from 4-H and just the overall experience that we didn't know what else to do other than to, give back to our community that way. So it's very rewarding.
So
Yeah, well, Holly and I both had kids go through the program.
Right.
My daughter showed horses, so we never had a sale, but.
Right. Yeah.
So.
But it is, and them's the ones you got to really respect that put all that work into it, who don't participate in a sale, but they still do all that work, and our breeding stock and stuff that comes up there. These kids don't get anything out of that. They're just a ribbon to take home and hang on the wall. But it's the bragging rights at school. My heifer beat your heifer at the fair, and then, or this was better than that, or something like that. And that's what it's all about. It's the friendly competition, but like I said, when it's over, and yeah, that's what it is. So.
And you can't put value on the learning experience
exactly
of the youth who participate through 4-H and FFA,
right.
and that they gain from that all the way to the county fair as well as in the programs. So
exactly.
So phenomenal. So
yeah. So I guess that's all. I appreciate you guys coming to our opening ceremonies. You've been there in the past. We deeply appreciate that coming, and we've always welcomed it. And as always, we pray for sunny, warm days, 75 degrees all day long, and no rain for a great fair. So any other questions for you?
yeah, we'll probably address this, and if you're moving on, we'll get in touch with you after we hear from the Seneca County
I understand.
Group. For the county fair, and our ODOT folks are here in the hallway.
Gotcha. That's fine.
Scheduled for the 10:30,
right.
but because like I said, I had told them I thought it was going to be a little bit later with the scheduled stuff, so I don't think they were coming till closer to 11.
Okay.
We'll let you know. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming in and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
All right. I do think our ODOT folks are here, and I think this group's with in the hallway. Ready for who's going to kick it off? Are you doing it from the local perspective? Are they doing it?
Yeah, they're gonna start it off.
Okay.
Welcome.
Welcome.
You ready?
We're ready if you're ready.
All right. We're waiting on a person with a presentation.
Well, how about that?
Okay. But
Is that a plug and play kind of thing, or what do you have?
can they plug it right into the
Sure.
projector? Okay, so that should save a little time.
Are they? Do you have confirmation that they're en route?
They should be here. They left about the same time we did, so.
Okay. I don't know if I heard the door, so people coming in or going out.
Yeah.
I love that. So, well, I said that we could go on and have other discussions if you want to wait. It's up to you.
If you want to move your agenda, if you got some other small items, that's.
We can knock out probably.
Yeah, we can do
A
that.
couple of things.
Okay. We'll
What,
that.
do you want to talk about schedule?
Yes.
So
And I
the-
see there's a
The fair opening is,
August 7th, is that right?
yeah, whatever that Tuesday is. Can we move our meeting back until 11 or something so we can make the fair open?
It is, the fair is in July. It's the third week.
Last full week in July.
Yeah.
Attica.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
Okay.
Opening day,
Yeah.
opening day is Tuesday at 9.
I'm like, you guys go
No,
and switch it
no,
up.
yeah, the county one doesn't hit our work session because it's a Monday.
Okay.
But the Attica always hits our board session.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Try to be more specific.
Yeah. Yeah, the attic, I'm sure it's the 7th.
Yes,
So,
that's correct.
yeah, we could just, I mean, if we don't currently have anything scheduled, if we could just bump it back an hour.
Till 11, yeah.
Start
That would be
11?
great. That way we can make the
Okay.
opening and
And then there's something that under new business says board session July 3rd. Is that whether we need to have that session or not?
yeah, Stacy's on vacation, it's the day before
Oh.
holiday, I don't see any reason to have a meeting.
I'm guessing if we don't think it's hindering any business, if we don't have one that week, that's, okay. We'll cancel the July 3rd session.
Right. And then, I wanna do a special meeting on the planning of the county farm. And I was just wondering if I could send out a doodle poll to all the stakeholders out there and come up with a meeting time. If I could have your blessing to do that, so that we can start some work on a master plan for
Okay.
the county property south of town.
Yeah, so you could soil.
Yeah, I talked to
conservation
Beth.
service on-
Yeah, I talked to Beth and then of course us, but I think that, you know, if it would be a topical meeting, because all three want to be there, but I don't know how else to do it other than just send out a doodle poll to see if we can get the most people possible. And I'd like to do it yet this summer. And I'd kind of like to have maybe CT Consultants be our scribe at least. So if we have this meeting, we could have, you know, a lot of creative energy is going to come out. I would like to get that reduced to writing so that we could possibly act on it.
That's fine, I mean, I have no problem with you, if there's a hand up in the back of the room. I have no
So,
problem with you
you know, Charlene, would
starting to
you-
get the date figured out.
Yeah, Charlene, would you check to see if there would be addendum to having a change order to have CT come be our
If-
scribe?
If this is the wish of the commissioners to add this and ask for that extra duty from CT Consultants, I will respectfully request a commitment from the commissioners to pay the additional cost.
Can you find out an estimate?
Yeah,
Yes, I can do that.
And whether it's hourly or whatever that is, and then we can know what we're considering.
I will do that for you. I should be able to get that in a short time, and I can get that back to you hopefully next week.
because it's gonna overlap with some of the things we're doing with the parks, because there's a county park out there, and, but, you know, we've had some conversations about, you know, additional buildings, maybe a safety building, I mean, there's some, you know, enough conversation that we ought to do a master plan for that area.
We can get an estimate, if you wanna email me your details of what you would like. If you just want for a scribe, that's one thing. If you want to put together an additional plan portion for that, that's going to be extra cost, of course.
Right, I think if we get everybody together, I don't wanna waste that opportunity. I wanna make it as productive as possible. So, I mean, it's gonna be really hard just to get all of our stakeholders together and on a date, virtually impossible, but I think it's, you know, we're gonna make an effort. And I'd hate to waste that effort and not document what we've talked about, so.
You'll coordinate with whatever you need to give her. and-
Yeah.
No problem with me, so to check out what possible dates. Okay. That works. All right. She's what? Do you want to proceed with this other new business and do that while they're doing it?
Sure. You wanna
Okay.
do some business?
Okay, what's in it?
I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the general fund. It's at the request of the auditor's office for additional $197 into other expense. It is for, I think, membership to the HR Human Resources Education. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the Law Library Resources Board Fund, putting $1,000 in for advertising. Jenny Bowen is resigning, and she's staying on to get people interviewed and hired on, so they need some.
That's a good point. If anybody wants to be a law librarian, we have an opening.
Yes.
So, it's a good gig. It's part-time.
And I have a resolution authorizing contract service agreement with Renegade for the museum window repairs, in which the foundation gave us the money to do those. So those are all the resolutions I have.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any questions, concerns? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, all approved. How are you? All right, now, we're gonna turn over to ODOT.
Stacy,
Let you
what's the
introduce
amount
yourself
of that
here. and we
contract
can-
for the
yeah.
windows?
All right, sounds
Welcome.
great. Thank you for moving the agenda for us, commissioners. I do appreciate that. It's always a pleasure coming down here. I'll first start off by I'll have actually them introduce themselves if that's okay. I'm Pat McCauley. I'm the District Deputy Director in District 2. And Kim?
I'm Kim Reesner, Special Operations Administrator.
Casey Young, Highway Management Administrator.
I'm Tom Powell. I am the county manager here at Seneca County.
And I'm Brian French. I'm area engineer in our construction department.
Oh, I'm Zach Haver. I'm one of the project engineers, runs the project out here in Seneca County.
Okay, so that should take care of all of our folks that are here. I'll kind of wave at you, I guess. You got it, even better.
I don't know which button,
Okay.
I don't know which button.
Wow, this is more fancy than most commissioners' meetings room. So, again, thank you for letting us come here today. I'll start off a little bit by going over some of the things at a state level, what ODOT's doing. Last year, I came to the Seneca County Commissioners talking about a $5 permissive fee that's now available because of the transportation budget last year, as well as an extra $1 million on the TIDs statewide. It went from $3.5 million up to $4.5, so there's more available money statewide for the TIDs. And I believe you do have a TID in
Yes.
Seneca County,
Yep.
so
Yeah,
that's out there.
We're funding in Progress Parkway for the state TIF.
Okay, and those are good. I think that has to do with industrial development as well, if I'm not mistaken, so that's good. That's a good project to do, something like that, and leverage additional money, so. One of the big things going on right now is Drive Ohio, and that's an initiative by Governor Kasich. He started, and Drive Ohio is an agency within the Department of Transportation. It's led by what was formerly our chief engineer for ODOT, and it's really trying to be that one-stop shop for autonomous vehicles, unmanned aerial vehicles. So instead of a company trying to come in and try new technology and having to go to this department, and we all know the state's doesn't have a shortage of bureaucracy, right? So this is trying to take care of that and try to be that one-stop shop. So we're doing things properly while securing the public's interest, while not just letting it be a free-for-all, but also not being over regulatory and burdensome to try new technology. So these are some of the departments that Drive Ohio works with. So again, the Transportation, Office of Information Technology, Workforce Development, the PUCO, Insurance, Adjunct General, Turnpike Commission, Jobs Ohio, Public Safety. So a lot of those are all agencies that you need feedback to come in. And so again, they are that one-stop shop to be able to allow this development to occur and this some of this research to occur. What's happened recently is a smart mobility request for proposal that was sent out to try to get kind of a really broad plan to make sure we're executing this properly. AECom, the engineering firm, was awarded that contract in April. Connected Marysville. So one of the big projects, you might have heard of the Smart 33 corridor, and it kind of ties in with Smart Columbus. They're putting fiber lines, and so Marysville, they wanted to saturate a community with a certain percentage of some type of autonomy vehicles or some type of new smart technology. So they're outfitting all their lights. They're outfitting even pedestrians. So if I'm driving up to an intersection and there's a pedestrian kind of hiding there, it'll have an alert come up on the car saying, hey, there's a pedestrian there. Or keep that light green a little bit longer if they don't think, or if the lights don't think that car's going to make it through in time. So trying to reduce accidents while also trying to be safer and more efficient. So, and then the other part is the unmanned aerial vehicles. That is a different division of Drive Ohio. It was under ODOT, and their new executive director actually came from District 2. He has an office still in Bowling Green, but they're out of the Springfield area. And so as we talk about like Uber, you talk about Uber and all these other companies coming in and trying autonomous vehicles, you also got to look at the unmanned aerial, because you've heard FedEx, UPS, Pizza Hut, all these other places that want to start looking into that technology to deliver products to get the goods to people a little bit more efficiently. So that's kind of what's going on in at a state level recently. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian, I think.
Hi, like I said, I'm Brian French. I'm an area engineer, and most of my projects, or all of my projects, are in Seneca County, amongst other places. So, oops, I guess I found it. This is just an overview of all of District 2 projects, not just in Seneca County, but all District 2 projects. So you can see we have a wide range of different projects. But one thing you'll notice is quite a few of them are in bridge maintenance and replacement and resurfacing. We're doing a lot of taking care of what we have rather than building new roads, widening roads, things like that. We have all that 75 work that went on, but right now we're really focusing on maintenance type projects, which chip seals, smooth seals, microsurfacings, things like that, resurfacing projects, and definitely trying to upgrade our bridges and bring them up to standards. So that's a lot of the work, especially down here in Seneca this year, that you see. We have 3 projects in Seneca County. 2 of them are underway right now, and that's the State Route 18 project, and then 19 and 101 is 2 different places, but it's one project to me. The 18 project is resurfacing and bridge rehabilitation. I think that, yeah, 6/25, next Monday, is when we are anticipating closing 18, about 3 miles north of Republic there, right around Township Road 77. And that's going to be closed for 45 days. The 19 and 101 job is pretty close to being done, with a completion date September, but I anticipate with decent weather and, you know, God willing and the creek don't rise, we should be done hopefully sometime in July. We're going to start paving, I think, later on this week or next week on 101. And then we just got some little things to tie up, some guardrail and some things like that. The 3rd project here in Seneca County is on 635. We'll be resurfacing it from 18 to 12, along with some pavement repairs. The big thing on that job is there's 2 separate closures, one between 592 and 12, and one between 592 and 18. The reason we have, well, one of the reasons we have to do that, make those closures, is because that road is narrow enough. When we rebuild the shoulder, the only equipment that we have to use doesn't allow cars to safely go by us in one lane. I mean, because the ditches are real close, they're real deep. So that's the biggest reason for the closure. That's the 6-day closure there on the north end. On the south end, it's a little bit longer, because we're also going to rebuild the one radius, the northeast radius of 18 and 635. We're going to dig that out, add curb, and widen that radius out a little bit so the trucks can make that turn a little bit easier. And that's why that closure is a little bit longer. The closure, that number 2 closure, needs to take place between August 1st and August 24th. The contractor has requested that if he could possibly get in there earlier, and we're looking into that. I personally, I'll be totally truthful right now, I don't know exactly where those dates came from, so I need to find that out first before I say yes or no to it. But we're looking into that. So if that August 1st date holds, this project probably wouldn't start until maybe the very end of July, something like that. Because once they get in there, they're going to do the 2 closures, and they'll do all the work at once, and we'll be out of there reasonably quickly. So that's all I have for construction. And
I've got a quick question.
Sure.
I'm not a huge fan of tar chip, but the microsurfacing that I saw that was done, I'm not impressed with how it held up. Is there any official position on that? Or, I mean, I've seen demonstrations where I thought it was genius, but the application just doesn't seem like it was.
It doesn't look good. Aesthetically, it's not pleasing. It does serve the intended purpose if it's done correctly. We've had some good jobs, we've had some bad jobs. I think as a district, we may be in a little bit of a learning curve in making sure the contractor does it correctly.
There's not that many contractors doing it, are there?
There's not a ton of them, no.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of them, and it's not something brand new to ODOT at all. Because like Route 6, 224, we did it. We did it up in Ottawa County, Sandusky County as well. And like I said, aesthetically, it looks like, what am I driving on? And at first, it's a little bit rougher. It feels rough. It's louder. But over time, especially through like the second summer, if we do it one summer and then make it through the winter and then that next summer, it actually kind of, it quiets down a little bit, and the ride's a little bit smoother once you go through the heat of that next summer. Just because it's just the nature of the beast, so to speak.
Seems like they should have ground out the center lines. Is that, that seems where the most
Ideally-
degradation seems to be.
I would say ideally, if we had to grind out the center line, and we have done that on a job, I think on 412 it was, that we did some additional repairs and then did a maintenance treatment on top of it. But ideally, you want to do these maintenance treatments before the road starts to degrade to kind of stretch that out a little bit before you have to do more big time resurfacing.
So you guys are still committed to ODOT's official position, you're still committed
To microsurfacing?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think it's come off as one of the, it's one of the tools in the toolbox.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn it over to Tom.
Sure. Well, these are some of the culverts that are complete right now. We completed State Route 18 just east of Bascom. The other two are on 635. They are complete, or I should say 3 of them, and we wanted to get those done before the paving of 635. The culverts that need to be completed yet is Route 224 near the Township Road 109. We're going to shoot for the summer for that. There's 2 culverts on Route 100 between 58 and 86 that will be completed this summer. State Route 231, that is by 42, which is about a mile north of Wyandotte County, so it's on the south end. The next one is 587 near Township Road 100. These are other drainage maintenance issues. These are off the roadway, so it'll be in the right of way with no impedance to traffic or anything like that. It's basically pipe and catch basin. The Route 4 will be about 900 feet at 24 inch. 53 is about 1,100 feet, 12 inch. The 100, State Route 100 will be 100 feet, 12 inch. And then the State Route 231 is actually complete. It's the embankment job that's just south of 224. We had some bad erosion. It was completely rebuilt to help with the slope repairs, and all brand new guardrail through that area, about 350 feet on both sides. This is our day of the operation. Pavement patching, we're gonna have the paving crew in from Bowling Green for spot paving. And we got quite a few routes, Route 23, 4, 18, 19, 100, 231, and 778 to be spot paved in. Mowing, we're gonna start here in the next couple weeks. With the vegetation maintenance, we've been late April, we sprayed growth retardant to try to slow it down, and it usually saves us 1 mowing. It usually lasts 6 to 8 weeks, but with the heat and the rain we had this year, we only got approximately 6 weeks out of it. So we'll start on that. Shoulder reconditioning. We don't have no large scale berming operations going on, so we'll be just spot berming as needed. And also for the spraying, they'll be spraying guardrail here starting next week. And then we'll do broadleaf in the fall, and then we'll do a complete mow back late in the season. And then wildlife relocation, basically dead deer. It's a big thing. We have a lot of hits, late winter, early spring. So we're looking into how we can get rid of the carcasses so they're not unsightly, either through compost or a landfill. So I'll turn it over to Casey.
I've got one question for you. I know we have at least one beekeeper in the room. How's the pollinator plot going at the building?
I'm gonna talk about that.
Okay, I'll let
And
let
just-
it.
You want more to come?
Yep.
I'll talk about that. All right. Again, I'm Casey Young, Highway Management Administrator. Tom, I'm lucky enough to have Tom as one of my employees in the district, and the county should be very happy to have Tom. He's doing a wonderful job as one of our, actually our newest TA, so we're definitely glad to have him on board. Out of my shop, we run a lot of specialized crews that not only work in Seneca County, but all over the district. As Tom mentioned, we have the paving train who's going all over and doing pavement repairs. They're currently working in Wood County. We have our own mill, we have our own paver, we have our own rollers. They come in just like a contractor would, and they put down asphalt, mill it up, put it back down. They usually do, a typical repair from them is anywhere from 8 feet to 14 feet wide, 2 inches deep. So a lot of the cosmetic issues that you'll see on the top of the roadway. We do some full depth repairs. We bring in some specialized equipment to do that, but mostly what you'll see out of our crew is wider and shallower repairs that help with rideability more than anything. This year we'll also do some chip seal around the district. I don't believe there's any in Seneca County, but they'll see it out in our western counties. We plan on doing about 20 miles of chip seal this year. We also have a drainage crew, and some of the culverts that Tom mentioned have been done by our drainage crew, and they also helped out on the State Route 231 embankment repair. And they have a larger excavator. Their equipment is quite a bit larger than what we have in the individual counties. So if we have culverts that are anywhere from 36 inches or larger, they'll come in with their larger excavator and they'll do that type of work. Things that the counties don't have the equipment to handle. And for the first time this year, in our district at least, we plan on putting in a box culvert. We haven't done it before, and we'll be doing that out in Williams County, out on State Route 127. And then hopefully in years to come, we'll be able to do those more on a district-wide basis, maybe 2, even 3 a year. And then lastly, our bridge crew. This is a newly created crew this year. We found that we needed some specialized workers that just went out and took care of bridges. There's a lot that goes on with bridges, spall removals on the underside, anything where you get large pavement patches on the decks, log jam removals, embankment repairs, anything like that. It's kind of a separate task that a lot of the times the counties don't have enough time or specialized people and equipment to do. And so we've put a group of HTs together to work on bridges, and they'll do that type of work. And right now they're actually up on the high level bridge and the Veterans Glass City Skyway doing some repairs up there, but they'll make it down to Seneca County and all the different counties by the end of the year. And I think Ken is next.
Do you buy your mix locally, or do you?
Yeah, whichever county we're in, we try to buy as local as possible. We try to keep the distance between where we're paving and where we're getting our asphalt from as short as possible.
And is that ODOT spec, or?
It has
just
to
run
be
of the-
approved
Oh,
by
just run of
ODOT.
the mill, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Jeff Lerke, who is our Regional Jobs and Commerce Director for Districts 1, 2, and 3, sends his regrets. He couldn't be here today. So I'll just cover his slide, and I'm not going to do nearly as good of a job as he does, and he's got the radio voice and everything else. But they have a new slogan. It's "We believe all roads leads to jobs." So they're really pushing speed, money, and results. I can tell you from working at a county engineer's office that they practice what they preach. It gets to you if you need the money. It comes with very little strings attached. So some of the things he wanted to share is I think they let's see here, successfully provided jobs and commerce grant dollars for Church and Dwight Street in Old Fort. Funded the Fair Lane Extension project in Tiffin with the TID grant. Assisted Fostoria in obtaining additional urban paving funds for US 23. And worked with the county regarding the State Route 53 study. And he has a great working relationship with David Zach and Bryce Riggs, as well as Mark Zimmerman. So Again, I apologize for reading off the sheet there, but that's what he wanted me to share with you. And at the end, so I'll do justice here, he always ends with saying, "We believe all roads lead to jobs." Okay, all right, I'll tell him you all passed. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kim here.
Thank you. Like I said earlier, I'm Kim Reesner, and I deal with all kinds of things with ODOT. A lot of stuff that nobody else wants to do ends up with me. So, and in that, as I don't know if you all know that Holly Stacy, Commissioner Stacy, was an ODOT employee at one time. And so we were friends then, and I cried when she left. So I'm always glad to come and see her again. So
Was she a flagger?
no, we had a hard time telling her which arms left and right. You know. No, but first of all, I wanted to let you know that we're very thankful for the partnership that we have with Seneca County. Tom, I don't know if he's gotten to meet everybody yet, but Seneca County Garage, our garage, does a lot of partnering with, I know the commissioners, with villages, townships, cities. We will sell brine for cost. If anybody is interested, they want to start brining, we will help you, we'll educate you on that, because we do a lot of brining. But we do things like that. So we like to partner with everybody. We also, Oriana House, as I'm driving down 53 today, was out picking up. I was glad to see that. They do a wonderful job. Last year we kind of recognized them. And so we're glad to have those people on board. They help keep the litter off the roads, and it keeps our employees doing more meaningful work. They're not out there walking litter, and they can be doing other things. So we're very happy to have Oriana House. We're also really excited about Adopt a Highway, our Adopt a Highway groups. We only have, I think, one other county in Northwest Ohio that has more Gold Stars than you. They have 4. But the Gold Stars in your group, they have to be picked up at least 7 years, be with our program for 7 years. They do all the safety requirements, which is call us, let us know they're going to be there, put up signs. These groups then pick up the litter. We provide the bags they put along the road, and the next day we pick up the bags, and they've done a great job. And that is Tiffin's Lions Club, and I know they've been doing it way longer than 7 years. Tiffin Masonic, number 77. And Tiffin University Women's Basketball. So we want to recognize those groups. You have other groups that are really close, and so maybe next year the slide will be we might have to use 2 slides if we talk about this. But we wanted to let you know that you have some great groups in your county. Now to the habitat, pollinator habitat. This has been kind of a long process for us getting it going. We've partnered with ODNR, Pheasants Forever, Monarch Watch, Toledo, the University of Toledo, Bowling Green State University, Toledo Zoo. So we have all these experts that are doing this, because ODOT, I mean, our expertise in mowing. You know, we're not into growing things. So it's been a long process. We've been working on this for about 3 years, and I'm really excited that the Seneca County, our Seneca County garage, will be planted probably the end of this week or the beginning of next week. The rain's kind of given us some problems. But I talked to Mark Witt, if you know Mark Witt from ODNR, actually this morning, and they're all ready. Pheasants Forever has volunteered to plant that area for us. So they're going to go and plant the Seneca County. ODNR is going to help us plant all of our other locations. Within the next couple of years, we will have a pollinator habitat in every county in Northwest Ohio. So we're really excited about that, because we're kind of the leader with ODOT on that. So we will have this one, the one in Seneca is at our Seneca County facility, but we're also doing right-of-way. We have a lot of right-of-way areas, and we're just trying different, areas and seeing what works best for us. But any place that there's a large right-of-way, it might become a habitat. Now, one of the reasons we're only mowing back on the other side of the ditch all the way back once a year now is because we want to let the milkweed grow, and then we'll mow it down at the end of the season. So we're trying to, be more environmentally conscious, and that's not been an ODOT way in the past. So we're really, learning, and we're really trying really hard to be environmentally and conscious of all this. And so we're really excited about it, actually. I can't wait to see something actually growing. And if you ever get over by Bowling Green at the rest stop, we have an educational garden. If you're going south and you get off at the rest stop right there at Bowling Green, we planted an educational garden last year. And it's for people to be able to go out, and there's a sign there, and we want to encourage people maybe to add some stuff to their home gardens. So that's what that's about. And then right now, well, this week or next week, when you're standing at that sign, if you look across the drive, we're going to have a prairie planted there. So we're working on that. So with that, does anybody have any questions for any of us?
How many acres do you expect to have for?
Well, total right now it'll be about 27 acres.
In Seneca County?
No, in Northwest Ohio.
Three at the.
3 at the garage.
3 at the garage?
Yes.
And you say that'll get planted this?
It's gonna be, it should be
This
planted
week.
at the end of this week or next
Supposed to
week.
get planted this morning, but the rain last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rain keeps causing us some issues.
I have a question.
That's the beekeeper.
Okay.
Yeah. But I also am in Thompson Township, and we are gonna have laydown yards for wind turbines there. And we're gonna have a lot of heavy equipment coming down for 269, tearing up the roads. I see millions of dollars being spent on the roads now, and I understand that there's funds that are going to fix the roads after the turbines come through. Would it be wise? Where do those funds come from? Are we using taxpayer dollars now to fix roads that are only gonna be torn up and then fixed again with taxpayer dollars?
Are you speaking to like the county roads and the township roads or the state roads? or-
All of those roads,
Okay.
accessing that area.
So with our permits, they accept some level of liability when they do get those overweight permits, assuming they are overloaded or oversized, I guess it would be. But the county, they would have a similar process. A lot of times they'd get them have a bond issued in the county's name that they would pay for, and then they would come in and fix them, either themselves or the county would go ahead and fix that. Mark's back there. I don't know. Is this sounded familiar?
Yeah,
So, it would generally, if it's caused because of some type of construction, and there's a lot of overweight, overloaded, oversized, whatever, then it would be whoever's building it or whoever's bringing the trucks down. It would have some level of responsibility there. So.
Mark, did you have any questions for ODOT?
I didn't even see you back there, Mark. You're just
Okay.
kind of hiding.
Mr. Klaus has done quite a bit of work on 53 and
224 East, just, yeah, just wanted to make.
Lenny Klaus, New Eagle, just for the record.
Just concerned citizen here anyhow. Yeah, just wanted to meet who, in the past, I know in 53, they were closing some ditches. The approaches, many of them, I mean, they were built, I think, in the 30s or whatever, and they're way outdated and they need approach. And actually, when we do a new project, we've got specs for approaches and stuff. They're not even close to meeting that. These are public roads, whether it be township and county. And then I talked to Mike Stormer about it, and he said, well, if it's a county road, it's a county proposition. Next year, Mike told me they're gonna take this hill off on the south side of County Road 6 and 53, and the approaches need widened desperately for safety and everything else. You guys can't even turn south if they want to with a loaded truck without getting way in everybody else's lanes that they shouldn't be in. So my question is, who do I do, or how can we get this, some of this stuff done? Actually, we've probably got a year to work on a 6 and 53 project. Actually kind of spearheaded our own road, Township Road 90, if you want to take a look at it. It's not ideal, but it's way, way better than what it was before. You know, it'd be great for safety, community, developing jobs. I've had truck drivers deliver stuff to Tiffin, Ohio that says, geez, I thought I was going to Polk Town here. They're coming up 53. Once you get up 23, but actually at 53 in Wyandotte County, they've already filled the ditches, moved the culverts back away from the pavement. They've made a lot of improvements there that we'd sure like to see in Seneca County. 224 East is just about as bad, if not worse. Actually, State Route 4 is too. That's, it's terrible, and these are, for a guy like me, they're inexpensive fixes compared to building new roads and redoing everything, you know. Filling ditches, moving culverts back, widening approaches, things like that. So I'd like to get together with who, if it's people from ODOT, from the county commissioners, township trustees, whoever, get together and I can show you and share with you some of the things we've already done. I've actually done a video up and down State Route 53 South. I know the county commissioners have it. I think regional planning and I think Mark, I think I sent it to you and stuff to give you some kind of idea. Okay?
Did you share that video with ODOT by chance? Because I didn't forward it on.
I don't think I did.
Okay.
Who should I send it to?
Probably Mike Stormer.
Okay, all right, I can do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Pat, I was just gonna ask in general on overall state budget, is there, not that, as you stated and others, not that we're necessarily looking at needing new construction, needing improvements as Mr. Klaus has expressed and otherwise, but what has that funding been like or what projected? And I don't know if they, obviously, I didn't follow the state budget or remember what it said.
Yeah, so, you know, some of the issues, like good and bad, I mean, we, District 2 has really made out well from the turnpike bonds. So the turnpike bonds, if you were a direct nexus to the turnpikes, like I-75, we were able to, you know, widen that, and it's hard to imagine it was ever even 2 lanes before, but with that money, we were able to do a lot of projects. Well, that turnpike money is, we got 2 more projects. We have an I-75 project that just sold, what, last week, Brian, a week or 2 ago? And we have 1 more I-75 project next year, and that's it. And then there's 1 in Cleveland. So when that money is gone, that's it, with the turnpike bond money. That does get back to the gas tax. You know, our federal gas taxes have been increased since 1983. It's the same amount. Vehicles are getting more efficient. People, depending on the economy, they'll drive more or drive less. And the state gas tax hasn't increased since 2005 or 6. So it was great to get that stimulus in there, and we had a stimulus before that. So it's either what's the next stimulus going to be, or we need to find some other way to fund, and that's one of the reasons in the slides you saw we're really focusing on maintenance and trying to, instead of capacity building. Capacity building would be adding more lanes, widening. We really, with the funds that we have, we need to focus on maintaining what we got. We can't just let what we got, you know, go down the crapper there. So that's kind of, that's where we're sitting now is yeah, in the next few years, I would imagine there's going to be even a bigger and bigger push to figure out some type of funding for roads, whether it's at a federal level, a state level, and I think the bonding capacity for the turnpike is probably reached. So, at least for what we're doing with that. So it's not a good, I guess it's not a positive thing to say, but that's what
No,
we're
but
saying.
the gas tax is an issue that's gonna need to be taken up. I mean, I think there's, I sit on the CCAO board and there's been some discussion and somebody wants to throw out about autonomous vehicles and so forth. I said, let's still look at the, you know, others had agreed, look at the majority of the vehicles are the gas-powered vehicles, and, you know, they are more fuel efficient, which is great. But like I said, it's been a long time coming, and I'm never an advocate for new taxes or more taxes and et cetera, but the reality of that is how we're going to fund it if we're not gonna have these other stimuluses of monies. There's gotta be something that is dedicated, and we're fueling our cars, and that's what we're using is those roads. So we've gotta figure it out, and federal level, they're gonna need to address that.
Right, and so there might have to be some type of short-term fix and then even a long-term fix, because if you do start seeing more vehicles use alternate fuel, and whether that's electric or gas or whatever it is, that's gonna have a dent in what we've historically used as our revenue stream for roads. So, yep.
We have a dedicated transportation committee in Seneca County, and it's a partnership with the city's regional planning, economic development, a lot of concerned citizens. Is there any way we could get somebody from ODOT to periodically join that?
I have the perfect person for you. And so that gets to one of the other things I wanted to close on, and I'll still leave it open for questions.
Yeah,
but Tom Powell is our new TA for Seneca County. So last year he wasn't here. And now he is, and he's really been getting involved. I think you've been to a number of the EMA meetings, right? We're trying to be good local partners, and that position, and when we say TA, it means Transportation Administrator. We have one in each county, and they're supposed to be ODOT's arm in that county and really create good relationships and be on committees like that. And so
to Mr. Klaus's point, if we want to have those conversations between county, city, and ODOT, we could use that forum, and he could participate and take that message back.
Yeah, that would be, so, sorry to volunteer you there, but.
And just in that vein, I'd like Charlene to kind of give us a little bit of while everybody's in the room, what some of the priorities we talked about.
Good morning, Charlene Watkins, Seneca Regional Planning Commission. So our Transportation and Highway Committee for Seneca County had multiple meetings, and we put together a priority plan for this year. And then our TID approved that priority plan, so we're working on funding and where we want to go and what we want to do. So I was just going to give you some of our top priorities that we agreed on for this year. And to pull together the group that we have in our Transportation and Highway Committee, to get them all to agree on the same thing is quite a task. And it's a great task because it's not only just county representatives, it's the City of Tiffin, City of Fostoria, we have village representatives, township representatives, and we also have commissioners and other elected officials like Mark Zimmerman, so our county engineer, who always tells us we're heading in the right direction or we're not when it comes to transportation, and that's always great to know. So putting all those people in the same room and getting them to agree is great. We opened it up to our townships and villages this year, sent them a letter, asked them to take part in our committees, and asked them for their input if they had any priorities that they wanted addressed or wanted us to look at. None really saw anything that was a major priority at this time, but we're going to change how we do our priority plan, so of course then they're going to have some input, right? So our current priorities, our committee definitely agreed that safety's top for our citizens, and we're highly concerned about State Route 224 and 3 different intersections. So those 3 intersections are 224 at Route 231, 224 at Route 19, and 220, not State Route 19, that's County Road 19. I always put State Route 19, it's County Road 19, sorry. And 224 at Route 100, where we definitely could see a need for turning lanes and assistance there. So that we have decided that's a major safety issue, and we want to proactively speak to ODOT, talk to our state representatives, talk to our county representatives about those intersections. Another one of our priorities is a planning project for the City of Fostoria and their Iron Triangle and emergency escape routes, which is emergency vehicles being able to escape out over the trains, right? Because we all know the Iron Triangle has a lot of trains, so we're looking at overpasses and things like that. So that's a planning initiative. The next one would be, and these are in no specific order, by the way. Another one of our great initiatives is active transportation. We're currently working on an active transportation plan. So once that plan is complete, our priority is implementation for routes in Seneca County and funding. Another one is the phase 1 of the Tiffin-Fostoria Connector, which is the 4-mile widening and curb straightening project for Mall Road beginning at Tiber Road and running north to County Road 592. So that is that's a multi-phase project that is a connector from Tiffin to Fostoria. Great for our semi-trucks and business routes. So we need to get our trucks from going through town to get them around. Because it's pretty scary when you see a semi-truck turn downtown Tiffin. If you don't see it, come sit in my office and you'll understand why I can't breathe half the day. That's just the best thing I can say about it. There's an urban paving project for Fostoria. This is part of their priorities and something they're really interested in. So they have 3 different routes that lead to 23, well 2 to 23 and 1 to State Route 12. So it's State Route 199 from the corporation limit to State Route 23, State Route 12 from the corporation limit to State Route 23, and State Route 18 from the corporation limit to State Route 12. They have an urban paving project. And then we will always continue to look at other phases of the Fostoria Loop Road project, which are phases 2A and B, Jones Road, grades, separations, Jones Road's resurfacing, and State Route 12 intersections. So we've done a lot of research. The people that have been part of this have been amazing, and they know what they're talking about. And we're really thrilled that they're giving us this information, and they will always continue to work towards safety, capacity, and building jobs in the industry. So they are doing a great job, and I have to commend the whole group. So those are our priorities. If you have questions, let us know.
I think with the 224, there was a few intersections that were brought up last year that we did some studies on to see. One of them was a traffic light, whether to remove it, and it did meet the warrants, if I'm not mistaken. Mark, does any of this ring a bell?
Yeah,
I
the
don't-
traffic light did, and all three locations met warrants for turn lanes, but there
Yeah.
was no funding available for them.
Okay. So in that case, they would have met the warrants. So just like anything else, it's all about prioritizing. And unfortunately, with our, we're getting back to the funding situation we talked about before. So TRAC is one of our major funding mechanisms. So when we're looking at a safety project, like getting rid of that hill there, I mean, we could go up to a couple $1,000,000 or maybe a little more than that. But when you're looking to like major projects, you're looking at TRAC. This past year, TRAC had $58 million that it awarded. It's currently, they're not accepting any applications this year. But of that 58, we actually got in District 2, we got 24. So that's pretty good. But having said that, since they're already reached their max at over program, 35%, it kind of gets back to what we were talking about before. So if you're looking at the overpasses, things like that, that's where that TRAC would come in. So I think it's good to stay active with the TID, especially if you get some of those priorities down. I know you do. I've seen the plan from last year. But you get those priorities down, start tackling it with the TID. They can help fund some studies. They can help fund, if you got connector roads, they're really more tied to industrial development. So if you have factories, warehouses, that type of thing, they can help leverage some dollars there. So yeah, I think you're going about it the right way, and make sure you're working with Jeff Lerke with their Jobs and Commerce Department. But going forward, yeah, it's good that we're all on one page, but as with anything, funding's always a little tight. I'd love to have a bunch of money we can do, fix a lot of the issues that do meet warrants and, do need to be addressed, but we just don't have the funding to do it, so.
I did have a couple questions from township trustees.
Yeah.
Where State Route 19 is being redone in Adams Township, they would like to know what the final surfacing is going to be on that. If it's going to be chip seal, asphalt, what it's going to be.
It's asphalt. It's a
asphalt.
real thin layer of asphalt. It's a microsurfacing job, correct?
Is that going to be the same on State Route 18 as well? 18 and 19? When you finish your project?
Is that-
Just Adams County.
Both of those jobs are microsurface jobs, right? Yeah, both of those jobs are asphalt. They're not
Both
chip seal.
asphalt?
Oh, yeah,
That's
they're
what
both
we need to
asphalt.
know. Thank you.
But saying asphalt, if
The
they are
asphalt, you're talking microsurface.
Yeah, if they are.
Microsurface.
Yeah.
Microsurface?
So they're not, we've had some issues in villages, and Brian is, I think, part of some of that, where we'll sit there and say microsurfacing, and, if I tell you what a chip seal is, it's gonna be chip seal, you know what to expect, right? Everybody's gonna be mad. But it's gonna be, if I tell you a chip seal, you know what to expect. In that case, some of these villages, we said microsurfacing, well, they never really have seen a microsurfacing before. And so they expect it to be like asphalt, like your typical,
Before you get too deep into this, I think I have to stop him. I said microsurfacing, and sometimes I think I use that as like saying Kleenex. It's a tissue. Kleenex is a brand name. I sometimes use microsurfacing incorrectly. I think what it is a 1-inch
Smooth
polymer smooth seal.
Oh, that's
and yeah, my other engineer I work with yells at me quite a bit about that.
State Route
But-
18 is 1.5 inches of surface.
Of asphalt. Yeah. So I apologize. Do not use the word microsurface. That's my fault.
State
Don't do
Route
that.
18 is 1.5 inches of asphalt?
It's 3 1/4 total inches. 1.5 inches will be a surface course, and they're putting 1 3/4 inches of intermediate on right now.
Thank you. And 19 is going to be,
It's getting overlaid with 1 inch of smooth seal.
thank you very much.
Sorry about that.
And smooth seal, you'll have that nice, grade on the top. It'll look like a paved road. So getting back to my other spiel, but I'll cut it short. Microsurfacing, a lot of times, villages hadn't experienced that. So when we go through a village, we're not going to chip seal, but they get a microsurfacing. They expect that asphalt, but it's not what you're really expecting. A typical 1 inch or 1 1/4, 1.5 inch asphalt to look like, because it's very thin with very fine graded material in it. So.
Commissioner Kirschner isn't here, but I know he would say, we want our share.
Yep.
So I'm sure he's watching, gonna watch.
Is he watching on the camera? I can hold this up here. I did bring some of the statistics for Seneca County, what your PCR is and some other things. So PCR is pavement condition rating. We go through the district and we use some expensive machinery, right, to determine what the PCR is. Our goal for the district is an 80, and that's statewide. Our PCR in Seneca County is actually 83.79, has the third best pavement conditions in District 2, so that's good to know. Bridge condition, our average bridge condition here is a 7.04. Our goal is a 6.8, so that's doing good. It's the fourth best bridge conditions in District 2. Lane miles addressed this year with district allocations. That's 56 lane miles. Seneca County share is 19% of the district's total. Vehicles traveled in Seneca County is 5% of the district totals. And then structures we're addressing 9. So the share of the structures is 17% of the district total. So I'll leave you with that.
Okay.
And if he can see it on the camera.
We'll scan it.
Yeah.
Make sure he gets it. The other thing I'd like to I guess close with is we did receive a grant to do an active transportation plan for Seneca County, and we're in the middle of that. And that grant was from ODOT's active transportation group. So we do appreciate. We were one of 4, Charlene, in the state of Ohio to receive that grant. And so we're pretty proud of that, and we'll see some results. So next year at this time, we'll be talking about what the plan is and what the funding requirements are, so.
And I guess the only other closing thing is if you're looking at like industrial development, roads and things like that, is if you do have a SEDS, that's a comprehensive economic development strategy.
We
that
do have
does,
one.
You do have one, okay, good. All right, so you're already on top of that. All right, never mind, I'll stop it there.
What Shane is saying is when you come next year, bring your checkbook.
Bring your checkbook.
Sacks of cash.
Just sacks of cash. I'll remember it.
All right, to
You're gonna be
Holly and the
disappointed.
rest of you, thank you for coming and sharing all the information with us and taking the questions, and we appreciate the annual visit and update. So, thank you.
Well, thank you for having us, we appreciate being here, so.
Everybody who's here for transportation is welcome to leave. We're welcome to stay.
Welcome to stay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, I got your last name. I got your last name now, so I really don't need one.
Okay.
Thank you. How much was that window?
6,000.
I didn't see you there behind the door.
6415. Thank you. And a foundation paid for all that?
Okay, as we continue here with the meeting, we're gonna go back to talk about fair funding. I don't know if anybody came, I didn't see anybody come in from Seneca. Oh, I didn't see you come in, Betsy. Betsy is here, yes. Well, Attica already spoke to us, we didn't talk numbers yet, but we would like to hear, needs and concerns from the Seneca County Fair. I did not see you come in.
Hi, I'm Betsy Hunker-Dewald, and I'm here representing the Seneca County Fair and the Junior Fair Swine Barn. I'd like to give you a little history on the swine barn. Back in 1975, my grandfather, Merle Hunker, along with Paul Ziegler, Kenny Miller, and Lloyd Karcher, all donated their pigs back that year. They sold and raised $1,500. With this seed/startup money, they built a 100 by 100 building, which would be the start of the current structure for the youth of Seneca County. In 1975, an additional 60 by 100 was added on for a show arena area. In 1978, this group of families, along with several others over the years, such as Jim Gobble, Don and June Ziegler, Dale Stacy, Ray Mowry, and Bryce Weicker, are just a few I can think of that would have started what is now the Junior Fair Foundation and the Tiffin Flea Market. Fast forward 45 years, and not much has changed in this building. Same finger pinching pens, same roof that has slowly deteriorated. A few fans and roof vents have been added, and the roof was probably painted back in the late 80s. I can remember being up on there with a group of people doing that. Wash racks and holding pens are some of the other recent improvements the past 10 years. A few years ago, we started to raise money for for new pens. There are approximately 225 pens in the hog area of the barn. New pens cost around $300 each, which equates to around $67,000. At this time, we have raised enough money for 1 row or 38 pens to be installed for this year's fair. But unfortunately, some of this money has come from the tragedies of exhibitors in our barn for memorial money for Brady Sugar and the Rainey family. Our other improvements needed to go along with these pens are for ventilation and fans, along with electrical upgrades to be able to operate these fans, improvements of the lighting, and to convert to LED to make it more efficient and a brighter building. We also plan to paint the underside of the roof and the beams in the building, and improvements to the walkways for our visitors and our pig safety. The Senior Fair Board and the Junior Fair Foundation have pledged money towards some of these projects. We are also aware that there's grant money available, but many of these opportunities require matching funds or want to know where part or rest of the money is coming from. We also hope that with putting in at least 1 row of new pens in the hog barn will kind of become a field of dreams. If we build it, they will come, as far as more exhibitors, past families, and businesses willing to contribute when they see the plan coming together. Our request from the commissioners would be to put money towards these improvements here at your Seneca County Fairgrounds of $10,000 or whatever you deem a reasonable amount. We feel that if this building does get these improvements, that there are other opportunities to use these buildings along with other buildings on the grounds more than just 10 days out of the year. I would also invite you to come visit and support the youth at either one of the 2 hog shows or come support the Junior Fair Livestock Show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Betsy. So I guess it's for our discussion, we want to address this today on doing some funding for the fairs. Like I said, we were very fortunate with where the county on the economy of things has been the last few years. Years back, the county could afford to do the minimum, and we're blessed in where we're at now with just the way things are going, the work of economic development, jobs. We know there's lots of jobs out there, people looking for jobs, they can find them here in the county and so forth. And I think the emphasis was put earlier on the importance of this educational experience for the youth by the folks from Attica, talking about the involvement and what that means, and then talking about how those youth have given back time and time again. And I'm sure that's true both fairs through contributions to make it a better, and that's kind of that we have that generational return of that going on as traditions, and the names cited by Betsy there of those who first laid the groundwork for that barn, and the way improvements have come along for that. So your thoughts? And
yeah, I agree with all that. I think we just need to make a motion and figure out if we can talk about a dollar amount. So I would motion that we make $10,000 commitment to Seneca County Fair and make that a 2-year commitment. So $10,000 a year for 2 years so that they can plan, and a $5,000 commitment to the Attica Fair, again, 2 years. $5,000 per year, 2 years. So they can plan on that money for next year and programming and looking for grant money and match money.
I'll second the motion. So open for discussion. I think that's a great idea. Didn't think about it that way, but I think that definitely you both mentioned opportunities for, maybe grant opportunities, things that you could go for, and just being able to plan. I mean, we're in July, and I know when I spoke the county fair, you probably had the same when you spoke to Attica, was that wow, the fairs are, how many days is it? 30-something days?
32 days away.
And there's the 40-something days. I mean, they're here. But if that helps and aids in that, I think that's a great use of some county resources to help a great number of people. And also showing appreciation for the hard work of all the volunteers that make both fairs happen. Anything else to add?
I love it.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for your time and coming in and speaking with us. We appreciate it greatly.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. I think that concludes all the business that we had on the agenda, so it leads us to an opportunity for citizens' comments at this time.
I've got one thing I
Oh,
want to
okay.
say. Well, it's in citizen comments.
Okay.
We got notification from the Ohio Department of Development Services that Farm Credit Leasing Services Corporation, which presumably is some kind of LLC formed with North Central Electric Solar Project, has been automatically approved as a qualified energy project, and it's tax exempt. And it's part of the same code that we talk about with the wind turbines, 5727.75, North Central Electric, it's tax exempt. So we will be getting a pilot payment. So their solar project sold out, and it qualifies under the Ohio Revised Code as tax exempt. It's a small project, but so we'll get a pilot payment of $350.
Right.
So North Central Electric, a good local company, investing in renewables and paying the pilot. I think by the time the auditor gets done dividing that per the tax card, I think the Attica Library might get 75 cents or something. I don't know. But any investment's good. So.
All right, we will continue with citizens' comments, and as always, if you please make sure you state your name and where you're from, just so it gets on the recording. Audio picks up well, the visual won't unless you want to get closer to be on the camera, and we will go from there. So citizens' comments, the floor is open.
I always save my question to the end.
Oh, okay. I'll go. So my name is Deb Hay. I'm from Thompson Township and I live in Seneca County. And I know Commissioner Stacy and Commissioner Thomas, both of you have stood up at the State House, our State House, with our representative Bill Reineke, and have supported the reduction of these industrial turbines to be placed just 709 feet from property lines. Ohio setbacks for our current setbacks are unsafe to begin with at 1,125 feet. Let alone if wind energy in Ohio gets their setback reduction to the Ohio legislature. I have attached documents to your emails from Apex recently submitted to the Ohio Power Sitting Board with updated 709-foot setbacks for 591-foot turbines. Under the current setback of 1125, the Republic Wind Project will have 800 homes within a half a mile of the turbines. If you compare that to Ada Hog Farm, they have about 3 or 4 homes within a mile of the turbines, and those are 367-foot high turbines. There's nothing that in Ohio that currently compares to this project. If you want something that's comparative, you'd have to go out to Brown County, Wisconsin, or Huron County, Michigan, where the turbines went up, and then people became upset and were able to push them out. Those are the heights of the turbines that we're talking about. And even though wind wanted to proceed in those counties, they were pushed out once they went up. So we're hoping that doesn't happen here. Under the current setback of 1,125 feet, the Republic Wind LLC project will have 800 homes, you talked about that, 58 proposed turbines, which are 591 feet high, a blade diameter of 445 feet, large enough to hold 2 football fields side by side. Setback reductions will put parks, nature preserves, bike paths, schools, and private property even closer to these massive turbines. If these projects move forward, 2/3 of rural Seneca County will be blanketed with them through the S-Power and the Republic Wind projects. With the rest, as they're blanketed with them, the rest of the Firelands region will wake up and likely stop them. That is typically how it occurs in other Ohio counties and states, such as Wisconsin and Michigan. It will be too late for much of Seneca County. We will be added to the numerous voices that have either abandoned their homes or live in misery. Below, I've attached some links to your emails of testimonies of individuals who have endured living near turbines. These testimonies are too numerous to ignore. I have attached to your email a testimony from Vicki May in Nebraska. Her husband was part of the planning process, and her testimony is compelling, and I encourage you to read it, regarding her experience of living near industrial turbines. As the surrounding area becomes aware of negative cost-benefit ratios, further damage to the region is prevented by establishing safe setbacks. See the attached comparison to your email of regional setbacks compared to Ohio. Ohio setbacks in 2014 were 750 feet. Now they want to put them at 709 feet. They moved it to 1125 back in 2014 because they saw what was happening to private properties and how close they were coming to private properties. These safety manuals, we'll get to that. Safe setbacks are often considered by incorporating the safety and operating manual of the turbine itself into the application process. These safety manuals often refer to a danger zone or a do not linger zone of typically 1,700 to 1,800 feet for a 600-foot turbine. I have emailed to you a sample of such an inclusion in a Bridgehampton township in Michigan that includes that safety manual in their application process. They happen to have setbacks that are 3 times the length of the turbine. Unfortunately, in Ohio, these safety and operating manuals are considered proprietary or trade secrets and are not required in the application process. Our commissioners need to stand up and tell the Ohio State House that we need transparency in the application process. Supporting safe setbacks is a fair and equitable way to promote the development of land for both participating and non-participating landowners. Our commissioners need to stand up and say enough is enough and tell the Ohio State House that further reducing setbacks of these massive turbines from non-participating property lines is both dangerous and disadvantageous to our great county.
Okay, Deb, it's been over 5 minutes, so I'm gonna see if anybody else has comments to make. We like to keep the comments to
I'll
about
keep
3
it
minutes.
real quick, I'm almost done. Wind energy is
And if
not
you've
the
got-
answer
Ma'am, if
to.
you've got it in an email, you said you were gonna send that to us, or you did already. I think I got one from you this morning.
Give me a minute warning, would you please? I have an important point to make. I'd like to make it. I mean, this is really important to our county, so cutting me off at this point is really
Well,
inappropriate.
it's our meeting, and we always state that we like to keep comments to be to about 3 minutes. I've given you
And
5.
we've had meetings too that you haven't attended. You haven't taken the time to attend any of our meetings.
It's important sometimes that we aren't a majority at meetings indicating in an issue of showing any debate or
Mike Kirschner and Rep.
consensus.
Reineke has attended.
That-
I'll finish, I'll make this
Representative
brief.
Reineke doesn't make up the majority of our board, it would be 2 of us. And that's an illegal thing for us to do at public meetings when it's hot issue. If we're sitting there nodding in agreement or disagreement or opposite, it looks like public debate, and that's illegal for us to do as a public body.
Correct.
So you
This
know.
is a hot issue, and I
Okay.
would like to continue, if
I would
may.
like to see if anyone else has comments.
Shane
they'd like to
Thomas,
make
may
at
I
this time.
continue and just finish my last paragraph?
Make your point.
Wind energy is not the answer to our economy. The short-term monetary gain will be a pittance compared to the wealth that will leave Seneca County. When and if Apex breaks ground, the residents who can't afford to leave will move or either sell or rent. The ones who can't afford to do so will be left with the fallout. The long-term cost to our community does not outweigh the short-term benefit. I strongly urge you to rescind the AEZ and support residents that do not want to see any further reduction of the setback for property lines. I have read your statements about supporting property owners that want to place turbines on their property. I have seen you stand with participating landowners who want to develop their property with industrial turbines. It's not impossible to stand with both participating and non-participating landowners, promoting safe setbacks, rescinding the AEZ, and requesting the state require safety and operating manuals in the application process would be a way back to healing the rift in our county. Until that happens, there will continue to be a large majority of residents who do not have the luxury of you standing by them. That's all I have.
Thank you. Further citizens' comments? And again, please state your name. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I just have Vicky Salega, and I'm from Thompson Township also.
Okay.
And I just have a few comments to elaborate on what Deb said. There are a lot of people who are devastated in Seneca County with facing these turbines coming to our area. Aside from the normal, and it sounds bad to even consider these issues normal at this time, but the light flicker, the night noise, the killing of our birds and bats. I feed my birds. We are getting a bat house. We like our bats. They eat our mosquitoes. These machines are going to be doing harm to our wildlife, some of them endangered, as I understand, in our area. The brown bat, there's eagle's nests. Maybe the people in the big wind areas don't care about these things, but us in rural counties definitely do. We moved to the rural counties because they are rural. We appreciate our landscape. We don't want it hindered by almost 700 feet tall turbines. There's also long-term effects of the infrasound that is not too much talked about, and it has to do with the inaudible sound to the human ear that is adversely affects people's health by living in these areas of these turbines. The property devalue. We built our house there, we've been there 25 years. The last thing we want to do is leave our home that we have worked so hard on, 5 acres in Thompson Township. But if it comes to where we're looking at a turbine and we're in a turbine area, whether we have to take a loss or not, I'm afraid that's what's going to happen to us, as well as a lot of our neighbors. We're concerned about the life flight accessibility. The safe setbacks are, I think, the only thing we have hope for at this point. And again, as Deb mentioned, the safe setbacks, even at 1,100 and 2,500 feet from the structure and not from the property lines, is very concerning when the Apex Safety Manual, which has been the elusive Apex Safety Manual that somehow no one was able to find, but luckily with our anti-wind supporters, we were able to get it. And as Deb did state correctly, it states that the safe zone for their workers is 1,700 to 1,800 feet on a 600-foot turbine. Yet they want to place these in our communities, in our serene countryside. I'm also concerned, and I'm born and raised in Seneca County. I've lived in Fostoria. I was gone from the area altogether for 10 years. Moved back to Seneca County in Bellevue. Never thought we'd be faced with an issue like this. It's concerning that we have found out that 2 of our Thompson Township trustees are leaseholders themselves. We're concerned and wondering how they can represent us as
This is the
one minute warning.
of Seneca County when they have a personal interest in this project. I'm wondering if any of the Seneca County Commissioners also have a personal interest in the project. Again, the safe setbacks, we would appreciate that to be a consideration at the very least for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing that I did work on a little bit yesterday is S-Power has lost their regional development manager. He's moved on. And so I've talked to their vice president and asked them to please staff their local office and get somebody locally hired and get a developer on the project, because the commissioners are getting asked to answer a lot of questions that, you know, we're not really the experts that should be answering questions about safety manuals and some of those kinds of things. So S-Power should be here, and that's the Seneca Wind. You know, I give Apex a lot of credit for, you know, taking a lot of those questions in an area that it's not even their project. So suffice it to say, I've not been happy with S-Power's presence in our community. So you know, they have committed to be more present and be more available to answer those questions. You know, timing's everything, but they lost their local presence, you know, right when these questions start coming at us. So.
And I guess in response to the question that you had, Vicki, none of your three-seated commissioners have any lease options and or agreements with any wind turbine company. Don't think any of us reside or own property that's in any of the footprints, but we do not have anything with that.
Okay, I appreciate that clarification.
Any additional questions for citizens' comments? Yes.
I really didn't want to do this. Do I have to stand and come up there?
No, you can stay seated. We just need to hear, we need to make sure we get your name for the recording.
Oh,
But wherever you're comfortable is fine.
I can talk loud.
And if you want Commissioner Kirshner to see your face, so the camera only catches us.
My name is Jan Sampson. I'm in Eden Township. I really didn't want to take this on at all. I really initially thought we went to Hardin County to see the turbines in operation before we went to the April 17th meeting that SWIN sponsored. And I kind of went there with an open mind and thought, well, okay, maybe it's all going to work out. We didn't really see anything horrible that we thought in Hardin County. However, then I started doing my own research, and a lot of the things that I found just indicate there are too many mitigating factors here, the safety and the setbacks and what they're doing to the non-property owners is of a big concern to me. The idea of what is the population density in the places where these turbines are being erected. I mean, I understand in other states where they have vast stretches of property that are largely uninhabited, it makes a big difference. And I've only recently started researching the counties and the township density populations where the turbines are either now installed or considered to be installed. I don't know if anybody else has done any research on this, but I can't imagine that the people in these other states who were pro-wind and then they had the turbines installed on their properties or on adjacent properties now are experiencing health impacts, property devalue. I can't imagine that these people have lives so boring that they're trying to stir things up by putting things on YouTube about how horrible it is. I don't think they would just do that for the heck of it. I think we can learn something from them and prevent this from happening in our county. But all I've heard so far, it seems to me, is that but we get tax dollars, and it's all about the money. And I just think that we're remiss if we don't consider many of the other mitigating issues, even rescinding the alternative tax, energy tax zone. I can't even speak. Even rescinding the alternative energy zone, thank you, isn't necessarily going to stop the project. It will make us look a little less attractive to SWIN. Now, if SWIN's project manager is no longer around, I've emailed him a couple times and asked a couple questions. Yeah, and I didn't realize that he was no longer there. I just have really bad feelings about this whole project going forward. I know I can't stop it. I only own one little acre in Seneca County, but when we bought that property nearly 35 years ago, the whole reason we bought it was because it was out, it was quiet. we could listen at night to the tree frogs singing and the crickets and watch the lightning bugs and everything. And to think from what other residents in other states have experienced, do I want that in my county? I don't. You know, I've probably used my 2 or 3 minutes, I'm done, but thank you for listening.
And I appreciate your emails as well. So,
Yeah, well,
thank you.
you know, all I can do is present information that I found and hope that you maybe study it a little bit further, give it some more thought.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Additional comments? Mr. Smith?
Okay, Greg Smith, Bloom Township, appreciate your comments,
Yeah,
by
and
the way.
can I just say, if I run out of here, I have a commitment that I have to be at noon. So
We're
it's
not
not
offended.
because
We're
I'm
not
leaving
offended.
because
No,
I'm
we're not
upset,
offended.
it's just
Keep
I
it
have
going
another commitment.
all the time.
We'll take that as you changed your mind.
So don't leave too soon, because I want to compliment you on what you said, because I
I'm
do
not
believe.
looking for compliments.
You know, in fact, I communicated to the commissioners, I think, over the weekend, that I do think there is something to be learned from people who have been there, done that. And because I think they have more credibility than somebody else who's just speculating. And I do think we need to pay attention to those issues and consider the consequences. So that's what I've encouraged the commissioners to consider. And that does dovetail into my homework assignment, because the book that I've donated and asked to be read is all about that. It's, you know, it's a similar situation, somebody who was pro-wind and then went through it and now suffering the consequences. So before I ask the commissioners about my homework assignment, full disclosure here, my mother didn't even read the book, so, and I gave it to her last week, so, but please realize, I can't twist my mother's arm as much as, you know, I didn't vote for my mother, I voted for you. So my question stands, and I know, Commissioner Thomas, you've read at least parts of it.
Yeah, and what I would say is, you know, we get a lot of information, we really do, and on both sides. And I mean, you have to be somewhat selective, because there's a lot of information that's coming at us. Jim sent me some videos last night. I had intentions to watch them, and I fell asleep in the chair, and it didn't happen. So, you know, those are still on my docket to look at. I had somebody yesterday sent me a planning document for Ontario, Canada, which was a really good read. So I got into that and I couldn't put that down. But I mean, you just have to believe us when we say we're trying to look at all the information, and if there's things that are actionable, we're trying to, you know, I forwarded that planning document on to Charlene. She says, oh, this doesn't really fit. So, you know, we're trying to vet all that. It's a lot. And at the same time, be responsive to everybody who reaches out and has a point, and vetting those. So, you know, we're all, you know, getting a lot of information very quickly, and so, you know, I appreciate all of it, but, you know, as you see, we had a lot of other things that happen in the county too. So this is a top priority, but it's not the only priority. So.
Yep, no, totally understand and can respect that. So my question.
I'll take my incomplete. It's not done. And again, we try to keep up with as much as we can with responding to the phone calls, answering the phone calls, responding to the emails, reading all the attachments, the links, following all the stuff, doing as we always do to do our research. I am not going to commit to reading the book.
Yeah.
It's just because of the pure volume of it. It looks like you need to read the whole thing to understand it. I'm not sure, but I'm getting the points. You know, and like I said, sometimes we have the ability to share information because we can't go to all the meetings. It really, truly is illegal for us to show up as a majority and it to appear in any way, shape, or form that we are having nonverbal or verbal communications and debate in a public, that we didn't announce to the media that we're having a majority of us are going to be present at a public setting, and this is a very hot topic. So it is of concerning that to have two of us at the large meetings that, you know, I'm getting people upset because I didn't go. Well, we had a commissioner there. But like I said, that would put us in jeopardy of breaking sunshine laws or something along those lines. And legitimately, there's other things in the community that I had already committed to be attending. So that's, you know, that's the way the schedule's
Would
set.
it be possible if two commissioners were at a meeting and one sat on one side of the room and the other on the other side? There's 500 people between you.
You know, that's an answer for the prosecutor. I guess I'd have to ask and her opinion on that. Okay, any further items for discussion? Yes?
Or change the
Mark?
subject, I guess, on behalf of the Attica Fair Board, I'm sure Betsy said the same, we deeply appreciate the money you've donated to the fairs, and it will be spent with your guys' intentions, or hopefully we'll put forth where we need to do it, so I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Fair Board, and I'm sure Betsy says the same thing, so. thank you.
You're welcome, and
Okay.
greatly appreciate the work that both fair boards do, all the volunteers they use. And we know that you'll put it to leverage it what works best
Yes.
for your
You'll
needs.
see it.
Yeah.
You know what those needs are,
Right.
and
Right.
and how to prioritize.
Every one of us on the board donates our time, so it isn't like it's gonna go to salaries or anything else. It
No.
goes to the fair board and it stays there, and as you see at the county fair, and you see at our fair, it will get spent properly, so we deeply appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's 12:01, we'll stand adjourned.
Where's Ron?